Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will give you a one point of rebuttal from the government side of the house. The government side of the house said that it is immoral to do because it will create the customer doesn't have a consent is not exist anymore, because it will expose their data that they will not say it clearly in its very first place. So that will make the consent of the users will not exist anymore. I will say it is not true, because when this is very in the very beginning, before you download this application, right? There is a term of condition that there is a term and condition that all the user must pay attention and underline about that. The thing is about the thing about this, when you doesn't agree with this, you can also have a choose to not download it yet, so will not download it anyway. So the consent of the users is already stated in the beginning. That is, in the end of the day, they will consent anyway. So moving on to my cases, I will give you a certain context for what is really mergers and acquisition in our side. A merger occurs when the two separate entities combine proceed forces to create a new joint organization, and acquisition refers to the term of one entity by one another. So in the status quo and the world right now, it is enough, because mutual benefit is between the tech industry is really important, because it will create the fairness. When there is also a merger, there will be unfairness. When there is no merger, there will be unfairness, and it leads to another problem, such as the one company and another company are competing each other, right, to fulfill its maximum profit, for example, in their own industry. So the competition between the two company, and it will harming the users, because we oftenly using tech industry as our daily basis, right? So such as Tokopedia, for example, in online shopping, and Facebook and Instagram in our social media platform needs. So we will create the merger because of this. We concerned with this problem. So our goals here to uphold the status quo as the way it is, and let the merger and acquisition to be happen, because we want to make all the user have a good rationality and more consent about what is really doing of this merger, and make effectiveness for technology industry to make faster, cheaper, and better facility to serve the society even better. So moving on to my mechanism, support merger and acquisition between the two technological industry in our current state of the merger and acquisition world. So our stand is very clear. As an opposition, we want to support merger and acquisition within the tech industry, such as Tokopedia and Gojek to entering their shopping process, for example, and another company like Facebook with Instagram and YouTube with Google. So our BOP, I think we will win this debate section when we already prove two things in this debate section. First, why is it justified to do a merger between two tech industry? So the second, why is it will benefit of all the actors in the world that related with this current situation? So I have one point of argument talking about the justification. It is justified to do to merge and acquisition on each other, because it will create a win-win solution between the company and a customer itself. So let's take a look at the condition first. So firstly, in a word right now, let's talk about the company itself. The nature of the company is basically profit oriented, right? So with this basis, for the company seeking the maximum profit is by merging is really justified to do, because when the merger happen, there is no competition on each other. The competition will not be happen, so the merger come right to the solution, so that the company can seek its maximum profit to develop themselves even better, hiring more people, and opening the working field to the society, and it will create the win-win solution between the company and the laborers, or for example, and the society, for example. So that's why it is really justified in the very first place. So and secondly, for the customer itself, customer, when this merger and acquisition happen, it leads to the less competition around those two company, right? So because of this thing happen, when there is no competition on each other, the company will not utilize the customer, the rationality of the customer anymore, because the thing is like the merger happened because because the companies are really have a intention to do right, like Gojek and Tokped. They have they do this because they merge because of their own interest of the company itself. So they merge because of this shaping process. And for example, the Facebook and the Instagram to more uploading their data and to develop even more because of they have a same interest, right? So and another thing is like it will create, when the merger is, will create the less toxic competition that leads to the minimum less utilizing customer rationality. Like for example the utilize that our segment is like the Tokopedia and Gojek are competing each other, like as oftenly giving a discount, for example, in order to make a lot of people will use this discount or promo, for example, to maximize their profit. For example, they're not clearly consent of doing this because in this very first place they tempting to do this because of this toxic current situation of the competitor on discounting each other, and this make a toxic competition and each other, and then it will create harming the customer because of this, make the utilizing the rationality of its customer itself. So it is very immoral to do in very first place. So that because it is utilizing the risking and milking the rationality of its users. Comparatively, when this merger happen, customer will not get utilized anymore because there is no toxic competition. There only happen that from the company, so that it leads to the rationality of the customer will be upholding in the very first place. So that's why it is justified and beneficialing each other in the same time. So the benefit of this will create in a very first place, like for the customer you get your development in your app, for example, like you have a more developing and more easy way to reach that kind of apps, for example, and then it will beneficial in each other, like it's a win-win solution for the company and the people that using this kind of thing, and the laborers to get more welfare because the company will have a maximum profit to pay this kind of labor in order to make the and also company can make a working field for the another things, like they don't have work, for example, so they can join it with this company. So it will upholding and our goal itself could be achieved, that we want to make a better, cheaper and faster facility to serve the society even better in the future. So that's all from me. Thank you.